Polls have opened in Rwanda for presidential and parliamentary elections. President Paul Kagame is running against two rivals, including an independent, while two other opponents were barred from contesting. Kagame, who's been in office for 24 years, is seeking a fourth term. The state of the economy and security is some of the major issues weighing on voters' minds. Well, there are more than 9 million people eligible to vote in the three-day poll. They'll elect a president and 80 members of parliament. A constitutional amendment passed in 2015 has allowed President Paul Kagame to bypass the consecutive two-term limit and run for two additional five-year terms. He's led Rwanda since the end of the 1994 genocide, often winning more than 90% of the vote. Well, in this year's World Press Freedom Index, Rwanda ranked 144 out of 180 countries. The report indicates decades of repression have significantly weakened the nation's media landscape. The other two candidates are Habineza of the Democratic Green Party and independent Philippe Mpayimana. Both had to be approved by the Electoral Commission. OK, well, let's bring in Victoire Ingabire Umuhoza. She's a Rwandan politician and the chairperson of the new political party Development and Liberty for All. She joins us from Kigali. A very warm welcome to Al Jazeera. So looking specifically about how this election pans out, I mean, this is an election where the chief candidate has been in power for 24 years. Opposition contenders have either had to be officially approved or they've been barred from running altogether. I mean, how would you describe the health of democracy there in Rwanda?
Thank you for having me. The election where the best candidate who can challenge the President Kagame are banned raises seriously concern about democracy and the fair representation and genuine competition. So we have election today, but that diminish the legitimacy of democracy in our country.
And you specifically, I understand, were banned from by the Electoral Commission to stand in these elections. Were you given any particular reason for that?
Yes, for example, in my case, as you know, the first time I wanted to participate in the presidential election was in 2010, when I came back from exile. And a few months, I was arrested and I was involved in the politician judiciary. And I spent 8 years in prison. But when I released, according to organic law, in Rwanda, if you spend more than 6 years in the prison, but you are released 5 years after, you can ask to be rehabilitated, that you can recover your political right. What I did, but the court refused my application on the basis that I was pardoned. I get a pardon from the President Kagame. And the other example is that Mrs. Diane Rwigara, she wanted to participate in the election 2017. She was also arrested. She spent 1 year in prison. And this year, she tried again to participate, but the Electoral Commission banned her. This is why I say the best candidate who can really challenge the President Kagame were banned to participate in these elections.
I mean, let's talk about the two candidates who have been officially approved to run in this election, approved by the state-run Electoral Commission. They are Habineza and the independent Philippe Mpayimana. Why are those two allowed to run and you weren't?
Yeah, that has surprised me because they are the same candidate that the Electoral Commission accepted to participate, because in 2017, there's the same person who competed against Kagame. And this election, it will be the same person. I think that even if President Kagame is ruling his parties, they say that he is so popular among Rwandans, I think he has the fear to compete with really the candidate who were really popular among Rwandans, like me, like Mrs. Diane Rwigara.
I'm looking at the last 24 years that Kagame has been in power. I mean, he's credited, of course, with boosting the economy, but he's also faced criticism for, as you say, and given us much examples and details about, of silencing the opposition and also backing rebel groups in neighbouring DRC. I mean, what do you think that's done internationally to Rwanda's image?
Yeah, that is really a big problem because we have a regime who have some achievement in the economy. I accept, I agree with some people who talk about it because we have a beautiful building in Kigali, clean street, the tourist area are good, big, but in the majority of Rwanda people live in the rural area in the abject poverty. And secondly, the regime, their allegation that the Rwanda government back up the militia in DRC, that cause really a big problem between both countries. Because now if you see the small business men and women who cannot travel the borders and do their business because of this conflict between two countries. This is why I say that Rwanda needs change to a new leadership that we can build a good relationship with our neighbor countries, that we can make business. I think that Rwanda can be a good...
Sorry to interrupt there, Victoire. Many thanks for that. Thank you for joining us on Al Jazeera. Victoire Ingabire Umuhoza, a Rwandan politician who has been barred from taking part in this year's election.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.